We're here in Harvard Square in Cambridge, Massachusetts on a kind of gray and nasty day. It's threatening to snow, so going inside is probably a good idea. There is a really cool old movie theater over here called the Brattle Theater, and we're going to go check it out. Come on. Here we are in the theater of the historic Brattle Theater. It's 120 years old. They've been showing movies for almost 60 years, I guess, at this point. And I have the creative director, Ned Hinkle, here to talk about what the Brattle is and their experience with Groupon. Hi, Ned.
Hi.
So this theater, it's 120 years old. You've been showing movies for 57 years, something like that. So what's the history of this place?
Well, the theater itself, the building itself was built in 1890 as a sort of lecture hall gathering space by the organization that is now the Cambridge Center for Adult Education, which is located next door. But it's been used for various uses over the years, from a police gymnasium to legitimate theater. So it has a long history, but it started showing films full-time in 1953. When it was taken over by a couple of recent Harvard graduates who really liked foreign films and thought that there was a opportunity to make a little bit of money off of showing them to college kids. And it's been a great history ever since.
So this isn't the kind of theater where you ever showed blockbuster. Certainly today it's kind of an art house thing, but it never really was, right?
Right. In fact, it's really always been an art house. We try very hard to stay true to the kind of programming aesthetic that was set up in the very beginning. So we really show a mixture of films that are classic films, independent films, foreign films, cult movies, and weird stuff that you won't see anywhere else, or that you won't see at this point. It's more that you won't see on the big screen anywhere else, because a lot of the stuff you can see. You can stream to your computer on Netflix or whatever. But it's really about the experience of seeing these unique films in a cinema experience or in a cinema environment. So with an audience on the big screen with a bucket of popcorn and all the things that go into going to the movies is what we try to provide. And what the movies that we're showing are these films that you can't really see anywhere else.
I guess the Brattle started a tradition that spread around of showing Bogart films during finals week, right? As a kind of de-stress kind of thing?
Yeah, in the 60s, very early 60s, they started showing Humphrey Bogart movies because the guys who ran the film at that time loved Bogart. And it was actually really the late 70s that it became a sort of culty thing where they would show... It actually started out with this movie, Beat the Devil, which is a really weirdo Bogart film, but Casablanca and Maltese Falcon and all those great movies. And then in the early 60s, I think, is when they did the first Bogart Festival during Reading Week, which is this weirdo, unique Harvard thing where Harvard has a week off before their finals. So instead of studying, which is what they were supposed to be doing, all of the Harvard students would line up down here to watch Casablanca over and over and over again. And that tradition that sort of started the bogey cult, which is credited with helping to make Humphrey Bogart the silver screen icon he is today. Like, he always would have been a great movie star, a great star, but a lot of people say that without that extra push into cult figure status, he wouldn't be revered in the same way that he is now.
So with your focus on cult films and art films, it makes sense that you have a membership for people to come here over and over and over again through the year. And that's actually the deal that you ran with Groupon, right? You were selling memberships at a huge discount, which I'm actually sorry I missed. I found out about it after it expired.
Well, it was a huge success, so we'll probably do something like it in the future. But yeah, we were selling we have a membership. It's, we usually charge $75 for it, and it, or the regular level, we charge $75, and you get a number of passes free to the theater and things like that. And when Groupon approached us, we talked a lot about what we were going to do. And it seemed that selling a membership at a discounted rate was the right idea. Honestly, I wish I'd taken the advice to some degree of the people that I was talking to. I mean, we of course, we collaborated very much on what the deal was going to be. But at one point they suggested, why don't you do like a Groupon membership? And we thought, well, it seems a little bit difficult for us to manage, and we're probably not going to sell that many. We had this weird idea that it was not going to be a very popular deal. And then it was a huge blockbuster, in terms of everybody's expectations. Actually, I mean, my understanding is that Groupon really didn't think that it was going to be as big a response as it was, and we sold 1,250. I was, we really had to. We had to restrict the number that we were selling because there was no way we were going to be able to administratively catch up with those numbers. But it was great, and it's been a really good. It was a very, very good marketing experience for us, honestly. Like having getting the name out there to the Groupon list. Not only the fact that we sold a bunch of stuff, which is great, and we brought in a lot of money, but our web hits were like 10 times what they normally are on that day, and we really have seen an increase in people coming to particular programs. So it was a great, you know, sort of outside the box marketing thing for us to do.
And it seems like with that many new memberships, you also can now boast of an even larger body of members for the Brattle.
Yeah, we've definitely increased our membership base, that's for sure. And we have a new challenge in how do we manage. That's essentially we added an extra. I think we increased our total members, active members by 25% or something like that in one day, and that was really great. And now we have this challenge of managing them and hoping that they'll renew at the regular rate and all these kinds of things. So it's been great to have that, and we've been tracking the people who are coming with Groupon passes as opposed to our regular membership passes, and it's interesting comparing the two different audiences that we have. It's really a whole new group of people coming to the theater, or at least that we're now tracking. I mean, I don't know if they were necessarily coming this frequently before. So,
well, it sounds like it was good for everybody who got the Groupons, and certainly good for the theater. And I want to thank you very much for telling me the story.
Sure, my pleasure.
So we're here at the Brattle Theater in Cambridge again, and they sold out their Groupon on memberships, and I'm sorry I missed it. Thanks.